Wait a minute. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought Angel Reese was a big deal. I thought she was a box office draw. According to her pretend friends in the mainstream media, Angel Reese is a huge star.
Maybe an adjusted amount?
I think we can make that same offer because it won't have the same impact to the league.
Ice Cube, you see the headline from TMZ. Sorry, Angel Reese, the $5 million offer was only for Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese never saw this coming. After months of riding high on viral fame, bold interviews, and WNBA spotlight, she was blindsided by a brutal reality check that left her stunned and disappointed.
But just because you're famous, it doesn't mean you're box office. Just because you're famous, it does not mean you're good business.
What was supposed to be a golden opportunity has turned into a brutal reality check that exposes the harsh truth about market value in women's sports. When Ice Cube himself delivers the crushing verdict that you're not worth the same as your rival, you know the situation has gone from bad to catastrophic. This isn't just another sports story. This is about the moment when the facade crumbled and the real numbers came to light. What happened behind closed doors at Big Three headquarters will shock you, and Angel Reese's reaction reveals everything you need to know about the current state of her career.
Over the last couple of years, Angel Reese has been one of the best illusions in the WNBA.
Just 72 hours ago, TMZ Sports cornered Ice Cube outside a Los Angeles restaurant, and what he revealed sent shockwaves through the WNBA community. The rap mogul and Big Three co-founder didn't mince words when asked about Angel Reese receiving the same $5 million offer that Caitlin Clark famously turned down in March 2024. Yeah, she's a great player. The thing with Caitlin Clark, it was just to unlock millions of dollars. Ice Cube stated with the kind of brutal honesty that destroys careers in seconds.
Now, the thing with Caitlin Clark, it was just to unlock millions of dollars for the league because of her stardom, what our sponsors was telling us.
Right.
They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese, so I don't know if we can make that. Same offer.
I see. So, maybe an adjusted amount?
I think we can make that same offer because it won't have the same impact to the league.
But that wasn't the worst part. What came next was the financial equivalent of a public execution. The Chicago Sky forward, who has been publicly complaining about her WNBA salary not covering her bills, suddenly found herself facing a reality that no athlete wants to confront. The same league that was willing to throw generational wealth at her college rival wouldn't even consider a fraction of that amount for her.
Last year, Ice Cube came up with a brilliant plan to grow his league. He offered Caitlin Clark $15 million to join the Big Three. She would receive $10 million in salary over 2 years. He offered Caitlin Clark ownership stake, which would potentially be worth millions of dollars.
The message was clear. Angel Reese is not Caitlin Clark, and the market knows it. But why now? Why did Ice Cube choose this moment to deliver such a devastating assessment? The answer lies in what happened behind the scenes, and it's more damaging than anyone could have imagined.
He explained he's got no issues with the Chicago Sky forward. It's just the dollars and cents wouldn't line up.
Sources close to the Big Three organization reveal that the decision wasn't made by Ice Cube alone. In fact, the crushing verdict came directly from the league's sponsors, who delivered an assessment so harsh it left even the battle-hardened music executives stunned. When asked about extending an offer to Reese, sponsors viewed Caitlin Clark, who declined the league's reported $5 million offer earlier this year, as a guaranteed draw. Reese, while immensely popular, hasn't received the same financial backing from Big Three's partners.
Ice Cube, just being a smart businessman, a certain demographic won't be too happy with him being honest.
The numbers don't lie, and they tell a story that Angel Reese's team desperately doesn't want you to hear. While Caitlin Clark's name alone could unlock millions in sponsorship revenue, Reese's brand value couldn't even generate enough interest to warrant a phone call. They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese, Ice Cube revealed, with the unfinished sentence speaking volumes about her market position.
Angel Reese looks like a star. She presents herself as a star. Her pretend friends in the media try desperately to convince us that she is a star. But for some reason, no one else believes it.
This wasn't just a business decision. This was a public declaration that despite all the social media followers, despite all the controversy and attention, Angel Reese cannot command the same financial respect as her Iowa rival. The sponsors had spoken, and their verdict was unanimous. She simply isn't worth the investment. But the real question remains, how did Angel Reese respond when this news reached her camp? The answer will disturb you. Behind the scenes, sources reveal that Angel Reese's representatives had been quietly confident about securing a similar deal to Clark's Big Three offer. They had been using Caitlin Clark's contract negotiations as a benchmark, believing that Reese's polarizing personality and social media presence would translate into comparable market value. They were catastrophically wrong. The moment Ice Cube's assessment went public, the carefully constructed narrative around Angel Reese's marketability began to crumble.
Angel Reese was not going to be able to bring in the amount of eyes for the sponsors and for the league for him to justify that offer.
Here was a player who had been positioning herself as Clark's equal, who had been demanding respect and recognition, suddenly faced with the cold reality that the business world saw her very differently. Reese, also known as Bayou Barbie, is one of the most recognizable players in the league and undoubtedly the most polarizing. But recognition and polarization don't automatically translate to revenue generation. The Big Three sponsors understood something that Reese's team apparently didn't. Controversy sells headlines, but Caitlin Clark sells products. The financial implications are staggering. While Clark turned down a guaranteed $5 million because she could afford to, Reese finds herself in the position of not even being offered a fraction of that amount. The contrast couldn't be more devastating, and it exposes a truth that goes far deeper than basketball skills. What makes this situation even more brutal is the context surrounding Caitlin Clark's original offer. In March 2024, as the Iowa Hawkeyes, led by superstar Caitlin Clark, made their run to the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship game, news broke that the Big Three League had extended a $5 million offer to the college basketball phenom.
Since Caitlin Clark rejected the offer, Ice Cube could make the same deal with Angel Reese, right? Problem solved. Angel Reese could join the Big Three, games would be selling out across the country, millions of people would watch on TV, and the Big Three, it would be more popular than the WNBA.
This wasn't just any offer, it was a desperate attempt by the Big Three to capitalize on the most valuable player in women's basketball history. Clark's decision to turn down the money wasn't because she couldn't use it. According to Sportico, Clark's WNBA salary made up only 1% of her total earnings, demonstrating a level of financial freedom that allows her to make decisions based on legacy rather than necessity. She could afford to say no to $5 million because her brand value extends far beyond any single contract. Angel Reese, meanwhile, has been vocal about financial struggles, stating publicly that her WNBA salary can't cover her basic expenses. The irony is devastating. The player who needs the money most desperately is the one who can't command it, while the player who doesn't need it had it offered on a silver platter. This creates a narrative that goes beyond basketball and into the realm of market psychology. Sponsors see Caitlin Clark as an investment that will pay dividends. They see Angel Reese as a risk that might not even break even. For months, Angel Reese's supporters have pointed to her social media following and engagement numbers as proof of her marketability. The reality revealed by Ice Cube's assessment tells a different story entirely. Having followers doesn't equal having financial influence, and the Big Three sponsors understood this distinction perfectly. While Angel Reese generates conversation and debate, Caitlin Clark generates revenue and results. The difference between social media metrics and actual purchasing power has never been more clearly demonstrated than in this moment. Reese's online presence, while impressive in terms of engagement, failed to translate into the kind of sponsor confidence that drives million-dollar decisions.
He can't put himself in a position like the WNBA, where they're financially hemorrhaging. They're losing money. The WNBA is, I think they said they lost, 20, 30 million last year. So they're continuing to lose money. So you can't pour money down a black hole.
None of them told us that bringing in Angel Reese would unlock the same financial opportunities that Clark's presence would guarantee. This statement from someone within the Big Three organization reveals how thoroughly the business community has evaluated both players and reached a unanimous conclusion. The harsh truth is that controversy and polarization, while generating attention, don't necessarily generate the kind of mainstream appeal that sponsors crave. Angel Reese's brand, built on conflict and rivalry, appeals to a specific demographic, but lacks the broad, family-friendly appeal that makes Caitlin Clark a marketer's dream. This Big Three rejection isn't happening in isolation. Industry insiders suggest that this public assessment by Ice Cube and his sponsors could trigger a broader reevaluation of Angel Reese's market value across all potential partnerships. When one high-profile organization publicly states that a player isn't worth premium investment, it sends ripples throughout the entire sponsorship ecosystem. The timing couldn't be worse for Reese, who is already struggling with the financial realities of WNBA life. With her public complaints about salary inadequacy, she needed a big external deal to change her financial trajectory. Instead, she received a very public statement that she's not considered premium talent by those who matter most, the people writing the checks. This situation exposes the fundamental difference between fame and value. Angel Reese is undoubtedly famous, her name recognition is significant, and her social media presence is substantial. But fame without financial backing is just celebrity without substance. And the Big Three's assessment makes it clear which category the business world believes she falls into. The psychological impact of this rejection cannot be understated. For a player who has built her brand on being considered elite, being publicly deemed unworthy of premium investment represents a crisis of professional identity that could have lasting effects on her career trajectory. What Ice Cube's assessment really reveals is something that the women's basketball community doesn't want to acknowledge. Not all players are created equal in terms of commercial value, regardless of their on-court performance.
I think is one of the big problems with all of this that's going on around Caitlin Clark and the WNBA and these petty, jealous players. Caitlin Clark is a superstar. Caitlin Clark is a global phenomenon.
Angel Reese's statistics might be impressive, her rebounding ability might be elite, but her ability to move products and generate sponsor revenue falls significantly short of Caitlin Clark's proven track record. This isn't about basketball skills or even personality preferences. This is about cold, hard business mathematics. Sponsors invest in athletes who can deliver measurable results, and the Big Three's evaluation suggests that Angel Reese simply cannot deliver the kind of return on investment that justifies premium compensation. The broader implications for women's sports are troubling. If organizations are willing to make such stark public distinctions between players of similar caliber, it suggests that the market for women's basketball talent is far more stratified than many want to admit. The gap between the top-tier marketable players and everyone else might be wider than anyone realized. For Angel Reese personally, this represents a watershed moment. She can either use this rejection as motivation to prove the doubters wrong, or she can continue down a path that leads to further financial disappointment. The choice is hers, but the market has already spoken, and its verdict is unforgiving. As we watch the story unfold, one thing becomes crystal clear. Angel Reese is facing the most challenging moment of her professional career. The rejection from Big Three isn't just about one missed opportunity. It's a public declaration of her current market value that could influence every future negotiation, every sponsorship discussion, and every career decision going forward. The contrast with Caitlin Clark couldn't be more stark or more damaging. While Clark continues to set new standards for athlete marketability and financial success, Reese finds herself publicly categorized as a second-tier investment opportunity. In a world where perception often becomes reality, this assessment could become a self-fulfilling prophecy that limits her earning potential for years to come.